This is the CIA. We're here to tell you that this is an illegal podcast. We don't want you listening to this, but there's nothing we can do to stop you.
Ground Control, this is Major Tom. I'm picking up a fast-moving object at 9 o'clock.
That's a negative here, Tommy. All scopes are clear. We don't see anything but blue skies around you.
Ground Control, this is Major Tom again. Fast-moving object has now moved within 500 clicks. It is maintaining a parallel vector. Object seems to be a 1984 Ford Pinto, just like my Uncle Jeff's.
Do not engage. Return to station. You are being ordered to return to station, Tommy. Come on back to us.
Are you picking this up, Ground Control?
Major Tom, this is General Sanders. You are ordered to break off and return to station immediately. Failure to comply will result in the immediate destruction.
Control, object has moved to about 10 feet off my right wingtip. The passenger doors opened. He's waving for me to come join him. This doesn't make sense, but
So, Josh, you have an itchy butthole? Is that what you were telling me before we started counting?
No, my butt hurts. My butt muscles hurt, or whatever.
Why
my
does
tendons? I don't know, man.
Gluteus maximus hurt.
Maybe it's my bones. It's my bones, or my tendons, or my muscles. But I can't bend over really. And I think I figured out today that I had to push a freezer down the hallway at work last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those damn Sanyos. You ever see a Sanyo freezer?
Yeah, I've only pushed like 1 million of them, so.
Yeah, the Sanyos are fucking heavy compared to literally any other freezer.
Mm-hmm. Well, aren't they the same model as the Panasonics?
Oh, Panasonic bought them. So they are the Panasonics now.
Yeah, why are you pushing freezers?
Because it's my job, but also
work mule, just gonna go out there, just push the shit.
You know it.
I do know it. I did that. We did that whole thing.
This one particular Sanyo has somewhere along its lifespan, its wheels got dragged badly or something, and there's flat spots on 2 of the wheels. So just to get the wheels to start to move, the first amount of pushing, the wheels don't even turn. They just kind of slide. And then eventually, once you get enough speed, they'll kind of and they'll start going. But holy shit, man. It's the worst. My butt hurts literally so bad right now.
You got a painful keister?
I have a painful keister. And then in addition to that, I'm on a strict diet right now. I can't have I can't have anything that makes me happy. I can't have alcohol. I can't have caffeine. I can't have red meat. I can't have any meat. I'm not supposed to have any meat. I can't have really any. I'm basically vegan, except also then the list. I can't have salt or pepper. Pepper is also on the list. I can't have peanuts. So peanut butter out. Peanut butter would solve a lot of problems, I technically can have eggs, but I'm trying to just go on a kind of a cleanse thing since I got to do it anyway. And boy, I've just not been happy this week. My butt hurts and I'm generally hungry. I'm just hungry.
Yeah. I can't have any coffee. It sounds like you're just basically starving yourself.
No, I'm eating food. It's just extremely bland food.
Yeah, it's all saltine crackers and chicken broth.
Oh, wait. What is the first part of the word saltine?
Oh.
Yeah,
Fuck,
can't have
you can't even eat saltine crackers.
Can't eat saltine crackers. I can't have coffee, so I've been drinking. I can't have black tea. I can't have any caffeine. So I'm having a lot of herbal teas, like this lavender mint. But after a while, you only drink herbal teas, right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, more or less. After a while, herbal teas just taste like hot plant water.
That's what they are. It's just hot plant water. It's literally the definition of an herbal tea. What the fuck? Well, it sounds awful, and I wouldn't do that diet and save my life. Me, on the other hand, I've lost 14 pounds on the JW diet.
Just wait?
Yep, just wait.
I've probably lost 14 pounds on the hating everything you can eat diet.
Yeah. So, okay, it seems like the list of things that you can eat is shorter than the list of things that you can't eat.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
Actually, here, I'll go to the website. I have it open.
Okay.
I'll tell you the things I can't eat. It's like a tiered thing.
Can't? Or...
Cannot.
Okay.
I can have oatmeal. I've had oatmeal every morning for breakfast.
Bland oatmeal? Can't even flavor it?
No, I put flax in it. That's a flavor. I put walnuts. I put a very small amount of raisins because I'm not technically supposed to have dried fruits, and about a tablespoon of honey because I'm not allowed to have refined sugars. Honey is not a refined sugar. And a little bit of coconut or almond milk or something. Okay, 2 weeks prior.
I'm already, like, mad at you about this. Like, I'm already, like, really annoyed by this diet that you're on. I'm annoyed for you. Okay. Hit me with the Benny list on what you can't eat.
Here's the things I cannot eat. High amounts of sugar, spices like chili. Also, there's a lot of spelling errors, like spices like chili, but it's spelled like cold, like CHILLY. Spices like chili, peppers. I have to avoid synthetic soaps. I have to avoid alcohol, cannabis, all street drugs like cocaine, amphetamines. I mean, I wasn't doing anything like that. Red or heavy meats, fish like eel or tuna, which I don't know, like, I haven't been able to determine if there's something that tuna and eel have in common that I should be avoiding, or if it just means, like, there's just the two examples of what a fish is. I can't have fermented food like pickles, old cheese, anchovies, kombucha. So I guess anchovies are different from tuna and eel. I can't have coffee or any other stimulants, refined sugars, junk food, salt or pepper, oils. I can have a coconut or olive oil, animal fats, carbonated drinks. Okay, and then here's where, like, the fact that it has to be vegan really gets me. I can't have fermented food like soy sauce, tamari, miso, tofu, beer, vermouth, wine, aged moldy cheese. This is a weird list. And then I can't have yeast, avocado, eggplant, figs, grapes, pineapple, plums, broad beans, lentils, peanuts, sour cream, buttermilk, chocolate, Vegemite, or sauerkraut.
Jesus Christ. So basically you can eat water and herbal teas.
No. Oh, and then on the day I go, I can't have any nightshades. So tomatoes, spinach, eggs, dairy, heavy sweets. Why can't I have heavy sweets then? But I don't know. Here's the things I can eat. Fresh and cooked vegetables, including potatoes, sweet potatoes, yucca, beets, jicama, carrots, broccoli, arugula, lettuces, cucumber, carrots, celery, cauliflower. That sounds pretty good. I should have taken more advantage of that full range. Grains
but
and
legumes. But you can't eat fried yucca.
No.
You can only eat boiled yucca.
Yucca. That's what they call it when it's not fried. I can have oatmeal, rice, brown rice, beans, lentils. No, it just said, like, I just read that I can't have lentils. It's not a consistent list. I can have nuts and seeds. I can have raw shelled hemp seeds. Seasonings, including fresh herbs. So I can have fresh herbs.
Okay, so you can get some, like, Mrs. Dash on your on your lentils and rice.
I can have hummus without garlic or salt. Which sounds horrible. Yeah,
but that's just ground, like, chickpeas. Like, what the fuck?
I can eat chickpeas, I guess.
All right. Well, this sounds awful, and I don't know why you're doing this to yourself. So
yeah, well, I actually feel pretty good physically and mentally. And luckily, I've been cutting out my coffee for a while anyway. Like I've said, since our tea episode, I have been switching to tea quite a bit.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing any of that, and I'm just living my best life while you're over here eating like a fucking, like, 16th century French peasant. Like,
I know. It sucks.
Anyways, redid my office, Joshua. I'm done. Everything's all reorganized in here.
Nice.
Are you proud of me?
I am.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see. Where'd you put your squishies?
They're over there.
Oh,
now.
I see.
They're on that side. I had to make room for my giant fuck off jet that I got. That I spent too much money on. It is bigger than one of my children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to make room for that. So I had to reorganize this whole mess. So that's what I did with my time when I should have been editing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I
So the
started
next
out, so
episode is late.
Saturday, yeah, Saturday I was supposed to be editing, and then instead I don't have it connected yet, but I ran Ethernet cable. I have my Ethernet cable coming out of my ceiling up there,
Yeah?
in a nice little junction box. Yeah, I'm gonna put a second router back here, so I can just wire from my router out there to in here, and then I'll have better Wi-Fi throughout my home, and I'll have my computer hardwired,
Yeah.
not my laptop, because it doesn't have a way to do it.
Yeah, because you have a shit Mac. Because you're a fucking Mac user.
Shit Mac. Yeah. It's kind of a shit
Fucking
Mac.
Macs. Yeah. Why don't we talk to the listener about how many times we've had to edit out the fan on your fucking computer? Anyways, what else we got? What else banter-wise do we have? Anything else interesting? Made it a year, Joshua, actually.
We made it a year, yes. Today is August 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And
We're
it's
dating the episode.
our RSS renewed today. That means we've podcasted for a full year. The date is actually White Self-Existing Wizard.
El Acropo.
Yeah. Magnetic 11. Is it? Oh, the month. Magnetic Moon of Purpose is the month.
Mm-hmm.
And today's the 11th day. Magnetic 11.
Yeah, made it a whole fucking year for all of you, dear listener. How you feel about that? Let us know on the Discord how you feel about the fact that
Yeah.
you've been listening to this trash for a year now.
I know. Get us an anniversary gift too, like something nice, like a a year is
Patreon
a good
subscription.
Yeah. It's a good anniversary. They call that the Patreon anniversary.
Yeah, that's the Patreon anniversary. Paper and Patreons. It's actually the new anniversary scheme. It's
Well,
paper
for the
or
post-reality, yeah.
Patreons.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is the post-reality anniversary Patreon anniversary.
So if you're married, get your spouse a Patreon subscription also.
Yeah, get them one too. They'll appreciate you for getting them one. Because, like, I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about the fact that we made it a full year while I was needling you about figuring out if we need to renew it or not. I was curious how many podcasts actually make it like a full year, right, of recording. And I found some interesting statistics, right? So there's currently, according to Spotify, 4.4 million podcasts.
That's a lot of podcasts.
It's a lot of podcasts. And the year 2020 saw 1 million new podcasts get started.
That's like 5% of people have made a podcast.
Mm-hmm. But when you dig into the numbers, apparently, like 47% of all podcasts didn't publish more than 3 episodes.
Yeah. Our first 3 episodes were pretty rough, The first 3 that never got published were really bad.
And then you dig into it further, like the ones that have published at least once a week for like the whole year and stuff like that, it whittles down to there's only like 150,000 podcasts. So it's like 6% of all podcasts are still active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6% of all podcasts that started. So that's 6% of 5%. 5% of people think about starting a podcast, or probably a lot more than 5% of people think about starting a podcast. And then you weed down to only 5% of people start one. And then what is 6% of 5%? That's like 0.03.
Can you do the math? Let's see.
0.3% of people have what it takes to follow through on podcast for 1 year.
So we are currently in the 95th percentile of all podcasts. How does that make you feel, Joshua?
That makes me feel really good, man. We're right up there with like the McElroys.
Yeah. We are in the same percentile as all of those NPR podcasts, like This American Life and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Us. Wow in the World. Us and Wow in the World. Same percentile.
We're not even started really yet. We haven't even gotten our YouTube channel up. So new things
maybe we
coming,
have
folks.
At this point.
No, not when it releases. Not right now, but maybe.
Absolutely will not have that done by the time this releases.
I think it's close. I think it's actually, like, I'm waiting on Google to do their thing. 0.3% of people follow through in podcasts for a year, but what percentage of people make it onto YouTube? Probably most of them.
I'm sure it's a lot more.
Yeah, most people probably prioritize that one a little bit more than we have.
Yeah. We're we definitely have been doing this ass backwards. All right. You know what isn't doing an ass backwards though?
What?
All these wonderful sponsors that we have for this podcast. Why don't we hear from a couple of them?
Hey, Dale, it's that time of year again.
The one where I tried to flee to Colombia for 6 months?
That's right. It's time for semester sign up. This year we've got actually a couple new classes. We've got a new teacher in the con arts, actually. If you not want to learn how to,
Ooh.
pick a wallet, pick a lock,
I hear that that's a very popular course.
Oh, it's gotten more popular in the last couple years for sure.
We also have a new gymnasium on campus for you to exercise all of these wonderful things that you're learning in con class.
That's right. You could just take the gym classes authentically, but if you're learning how to pickpocket, you might as well make use of a crowd of people who aren't paying attention.
Mm-hmm. So, why don't you sign up today? Prick has a wonderful assortment of classes waiting for you, both on campus and online. And now, we support DreamWeb 2.0 classes, so you can virtually attend classes now in your dreams. Doesn't that sound exciting, Josh?
That's right. Now your dreams truly can come true.
Sleeping in class has never been easier or more affordable. Come join Prick today. Hello, dear listener. You may be excited to learn that Subversive Media has partnered with Flork, the AI-powered social media app. Now you can experience the next level of perisocial relationships by having chatbots of your favorite podcast hosts talk directly to you, sending you memes, pictures, videos, and other fun assortment of AI interactivity. You can meet with Dispatch County Swap Talk, Francois Fungus Hour, and Rewrapped, the Unwrapped Rewatch podcast.
Yeah, Dale, I've been playing with the Francois AI, actually. I actually like the AI Francois pretty well. I think it's because I don't have to hear him talk.
Yeah?
I actually use Francois to identify mushrooms that I find.
Very fun. So why don't you sign up today via the DreamWeb 2.0 web app and get 5% off when you use the subscription code Subversive. So we're back from commercial. So
I am very hungry.
well, I will feed you all the information that you could possibly stomach, Joshua.
Okay.
So, I'll feed you the knowledge about this bizarre conspiracy.
Okay.
All right. In mainstream conspiracy thought, there are many through lines. The New World Order, MK Ultra, aliens, demonic forces. However, unbeknownst to many, there is one conspiracy that combines all of these things and more. Project Bluebeam. First described by Serge Monast in 1994, this supposedly secret NASA project outlines how a fake alien invasion will be used to usher in a new global government. Since then, the description of this project has, in some form or fashion, infiltrated nearly every corner of the conspiratorial world, to the point some current conspiracy thinkers may not even be aware of the origins of their material. So for tonight's episode, dear listener, we are going to start tugging on the strings of modern conspiracy and see how far the rabbit hole really goes.
That was a good intro, Dale.
Okay, thank you. So, Project Bluebeam. We're talking about old school conspiracy tonight, dear listener. Some of you may not even be aware of what this is, but by the end of this episode, you'll know more than the NSA wants you to know.
Project Blue Beans.
Yeah, Project Blue Balls. That's what we're doing. That's what this episode's called. But before we get there, as per usual, we have to set the stage a little bit, Joshua.
All right.
We have to arrange the china, put up the tablecloth, put up the candelabra, set the stage for what we'll be discussing tonight, right? And one of the things that I'd like to set the stage with is the 1952 UFO incident over Washington. Do you know what this is? Have you heard about this?
Betty and Barney Hill?
No, this is different. This is when UFOs decided that they were going to en masse float around Washington, D.C. with multiple eyewitnesses, government cover-ups, and the Air Force scrambling fighters to intercept these mysterious aircraft. Nobody knows what this was all about, and it ended as soon as it began. So, the 1952 Washington, D.C. incident is probably one of the most, widely regarded UFO incidents. It's, up there with Roswell, the Hills, like you had mentioned. This is right up there in those, early UFO sightings that really kind of got the ball rolling on ufology. So, reading from history.com, right? So we're just going to read directly from there. The Washington, D.C. sightings of July 1952, also known as the Big Flap, hold a special place in the history of unidentified flying objects. Major American newspapers were reporting multiple credible sightings by civilians and military radar operators and pilots. So many that a special intelligence unit of the United States Air Force was sent to investigate. What they found, or didn't find, along with the Air Force's official explanation, fueled some of the earliest conspiracy theories about the government plot to hide evidence of alien life. So, the UFO mania started in 1947 when Kenneth Arnold saw the UFO saucer-like aircraft that he could not describe in any form or fashion as being terrestrial near Mount Rainier, Washington State, right? That was really the first kind of incident with UFOs and how we kind of got the flying saucer name to begin with, right? We had Foo Fighters back in World War II, right? Which are mysterious orbs of light and everything else like that would dog and interfere with fighter pilots and stuff like that. But this was where flying saucers came from. And then we fast forward to July 19th, 1952, right? Air traffic controller Edward Nugent started seeing these slow-moving objects on his radar screen and didn't meet with any known military or civilian flight paths, right? Then they started seeing that these things started racing at very high speeds. It says here in the article, 7,000 miles per hour. And they were basically flying over Virginia and Washington, D.C. area. And the United States Air Force scrambled two F-19 interceptors to try to locate these, but the blips disappeared by the time that they were there. But people had also seen this from the ground, right? They've also seen these weird lights and stuff like that flying over Washington, D.C. But the United States government tried to push this away and say it was, smoke screen and wasn't anything real and all this other stuff, right? But this had stuck in the zeitgeist of the time and also in the minds of the American populace and stuff like that. You see it built into the day the Earth stood still, where the UFOs land in Washington and stuff like that, right? So this has been a kind of a touchstone of ufology, right? And really, it's kind of one of the starting points where people think about alien invasions and stuff like that, of coming and flying over the Capitol and stuff.
Right.
So much so that Even Albert Einstein was chiming in.
And everybody knows that Albert Einstein is the smartest guy. So it'd be if we did have a Project Blue, well, not to get ahead, but if we did have an alien invasion, it'd be if Neil deGrasse Tyson, no, it wouldn't be like that, because Albert Einstein wasn't just a science communicator.
He wrote a very short letter, right, that says, "Dear Sir, these people have seen something. What it is, I do not know, and I'm not curious to know."
Oh, okay.
So, okay. He's still chiming in on it. So you can see how it's this is an event that would be very much part of the cultural zeitgeist, right? Even when you have people like Albert Einstein chiming in on it, right?
To say that he doesn't want to know, though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know anything about it.
Oh, incurious Albert.
So I just wanted to set the stage with that, because what we're talking about with Project Bluebeam is the faking of an alien invasion, right? But we need to have a precedent that would lead people to think that this is A, happening, and B, within the realm of possibility, right? And these early UFO tales and stuff like that with Roswell and other such events, right, that were all described within the Project Blue Book, a different Blue project, right?
Right.
Kind of set the stage for the possibility that we would be visited first and possibly even more invaded by extraterrestrial threats, right? Now, to link in also with NASA, right, as we want to set the stage a little bit further, right, is that NASA itself is often accused of harboring a breakaway civilization, right? Are you familiar with the term breakaway civilization?
Yeah.
So NASA, in many conspiracies, is usually the root of the secret space program and one of several breakaway civilizations that have been described throughout the years, right? And you would think that a organization started by fucking occultists and, former Nazis would be immune to such accusations, but
Right.
here we are, right? So I wanted to touch upon that as well because we need to set the stage of why Project Bluebeam is a NASA project, right? Of all the organizations that the government has, why is Bluebeam pinned to NASA as being the propagators of the alien invasion, right? And it
Not
comes down
actually
to
studying anything. That's what NASA stands for.
yeah. So I feel that the continual accusation of breakaway civilization, of harboring the truth about aliens and everything else like that would be one of the set dressings for tonight's episode as well. So I wanted to touch upon that and kind of give a rationale for why Surge would be accusing NASA of this as opposed to like any other government agency.
Right. But it would be weird if he was, accusing I don't know, what's the housing one? Federal Housing Agency or something of it? HHS? No, that's Health and Human Services. Whatever. The
HUD?
housing HUD. Yeah, he's accusing HUD of harboring a breakaway civilization. That actually could work.
Housing and urban development is actually developing civilizations on the moon.
Yeah. So to get to the flap, the big flap, the Roswell incident and all this stuff, I actually watched a pretty interesting documentary, part of an interesting documentary about, it was called Aliens and Demons, and it was about this guy who's like a biblical scholar. Really, I was looking for other information. I didn't get it, but he actually laid out a really good case, which is very obvious and kind of the way I already view things, that all of this was just a cover for Project Paperclip. We brought over a bunch of scientists who are already working on developing different types of aircraft. We went over this in our secret space program. And then we said, oh no, it's aliens coming, guys. And that gave us cover for having all kinds of weird lights and phenomena in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And that translates now to people freaking out when they see a satellite. And there's so many damn satellites.
Well, not even a satellite. Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but I mean, other types of drones and other kinds of stuff, have led to a lot of mass hysteria and stuff recently.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically all the set dressing I want to do. I just want to kind of cover why this conspiracy, kind of exists and why we're implicating certain individuals, right? So,
right.
We can move on to part 1, the Project Bluebeam conspiracy.
The actual thing. Let's do it.
Yeah, the actual thing. So to talk about the actual thing, we got to actually talk about the guy who first described it, right? Serge Monast, right? He was an investigative, I'm going to use heavy air quotes on this, investigative journalist from French Canada. He's French Canadian. Almost everything that he wrote and all of his interviews practically are in French. It's very annoying. But luckily for you, Joshua, I know a Frenchman.
No. No.
All right. Francois, come on in. All right. Here. You can sit here. All right. Hello, Joshua. It's me, Francois.
Why are you still at Dale's house?
I'm not. He told me to come over because he wanted me to help him with the research from Serge Monast. I am French, so I was able to translate multiple of his writings for Dale here. I know that you are very interested in me helping you with this podcast, Joshua. He is from Montreal, Quebec. So I figured that my being able to speak French was very useful for this investigation that you guys are doing with your podcast. Lamont was very concerned.
How does this help you find truffles? Like, shouldn't you just be going and looking for truffles?
Look, my employment and self-funding profession is not something that I need to discuss while I'm talking to you on the podcast in this Serge Minus. Like, I want to talk about this conspiracy.
That's true. You know, I wouldn't appreciate you calling out where I work. I'm sorry.
You know, Lamont, he works very hard. I just wanted you to know my contribution to this episode, so you know that me, Francois, was able to help you, Joshua. How do you feel about this? I know that me and you we've had a, rocky start, but I want to know that I consider you one of my closest friends here in America, because, as far as I know, you and Dale are practically the only people that will still speak to me while I live here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the work you're putting in. I really do. You're putting in a lot of hard work.
Anyways, I need to go. It's Lamont is watching the the baking competition, and I need to make sure that he doesn't get too involved in the sweets. It's not good for him. He's a potbelly pig, but he needs to cut back on the sweets. All right.
Yeah.
I will talk to you later.
Disinterested in truffles.
I will see you later. Yes. Okay. Bye, Joshua.
Bye, Francois.
All right. He left.
I thought he was going to read the whole thing. I think he should have read the whole thing. Actually.
I don't know. He said something about pigs having diabetes. I don't think that that's true, but it's okay.
That might be true, actually. Humans are just pigs on 2 feet.
I don't know. Anyways, but I just thought that you would want to know that I had their resident Frenchman help us with this episode.
Okay. Is that an AI character? I'm not sure he's real.
You saw him on camera. What do you mean he's not real?
I mean, you don't you have to doubt everything you see now.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so basically, Surge was kind of a semi-big deal in the conspiracy circles of early 80s and 90s, right? But his big claim to fame, right, is the Project Bluebeam conspiracy, right? He had a lot of other stuff that's all in French, so it didn't really catch on as much as Project Bluebeam did because it was in English. And as we all know from academic science is that if it ain't in English, it ain't exist, right?
Exactly.
So basically, the crux of Project Bluebeam, right, is that NASA, unbeknownst to the general populace, is working with the United Nations, the other favorite boogeymen of the conspiracy world, to usher in a new world order, right? And to do so, we got to get rid of previous religions and also culminates in a fake alien invasion that will unite humanity against them and thus allow for the new world order to take over, right?
Right. And all of that planning went out the window when they saw how we reacted to COVID. And they were like, oh, nobody's going to unite for anything.
Well, this is one of those things that's like one of the conspiracies that's always like 10 years away, right? There's lots of them. This is one of them. Agenda 2020 is now Agenda 2030, It's always 10 years away.
Is Jade Helm still a thing?
Yeah. Because we can never actually have these things be accomplished because there's always quote unquote, like white hats operating against it and like making sure that the globalist plan isn't going to come to fruition and all this yada, 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 yada. So this is one of those projects that's always 10 years down the horizon, right? So before we get into it, right, is that there's also the conspiracy theory around Surge's death. In December 5th, 1996, or 6th, depending on where you read it, he died of a heart attack, but many people feel that this was an assassination. Basically, they hit him with a heart attack gun and killed him because he was letting out all this information about Project Bluebeam and doing like all these press tours and stuff like that. So they obviously needed to put a stop to that. So there's also that conspiracy angle on top of all of this other stuff that we're going to read about tonight. Just as an aside there, dear listener.
I mean, you become inconvenient to the government,
Yeah.
You get a little zap of that AFib.
Okay. So I think now we've done enough set dressing and we can actually just start talking about the text itself. So I am going to share screen with you, Joshua, so you can read along with me.
Okay.
So, luckily for us, archive.org basically has the text is a PDF, so we could just read it here
Nice.
without having to dig around for it in all these weird sketch conspiracy sites.
Right.
There is something about this version of the text that I will get into at the end, because it has basically addendums that were added to it later on, but we'll get there with those, right?
Okay.
So let's talk about Project Bluebeam and kind of cover the highlights of what this is actually all about, right? So this is a multi-step process, right? It's not just let's project aliens on the sky and get everybody in a panic, right? There's multiple steps to ushering the quote-unquote New World Order, right? The first step is engineered earthquakes and hoax discoveries, right? So basically, what they were going to do is they were going to create earthquakes, right, that would expose certain locations on the planet and uncover basically faked archaeological artifacts that would show fundamental errors in the world's major religions. They call it specifically Christianity and Islam, but I assume that it means like every major religion would have something that would be shown as being fundamentally wrong with their religious beliefs, right?
Well, I know that Serge Manass mostly was talking about the Abrahamic religions, and I think the reason for that is that the religion itself has to have a apocalypse narrative for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda. I mean, other religions like Buddhism would be like, "Hey, I'm Buddha. I'm back." They'd be like, "Oh, you mean the Dalai Lama?" You know.
Mm-hmm. So basically, that's the first step. Is that we're going to have some new discoveries that will fundamentally change how people, quote unquote, interpret these Abrahamic religions, right? And that will lead into how people will view the next set of events, right? Because if people have these new discoveries and these new beliefs, right, then they're like, okay, well, you know, what's actually going to happen is that there's going to be a gigantic space show. He uses in air quotes, right?
Right.
And that they're going to be laying the groundwork for this in altering people's interpretations of religion, right?
Right. You have to change what people are going to be looking for, because you can't be the actual real Jesus, you know?
Yes. So, like, it's going to set up that, like, okay, these new prophecies are going to happen, and the way that they're going to do this, right? And he claims that the Soviets invented this 25 years ago with advanced computers and all this other stuff. Like, yeah. Right? Is they're basically going to project holograms across the entire world. And reading directly from this, right? The second step in the NASA Bluebeam project involves a gigantic space show, in quotes, with three-dimensional optic holograms and sound, laser projections of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to the predominant regional, national, religious faith, and this new God's voice will speak in all languages. And then he gets into all of how this works, right, with the Soviet computers and all that other stuff, right? So there are two different aspects to step 2. The first is the space show. Where does the space come from? The space show is a holographic image. It's used to simulate the ending, during which all nations will be shown scenes that will be fulfillment of that which they desire to verify the prophecies and adversarial events. So basically, what we've set up in the reinterpretation of religion will now be shown on the big sky projector, basically.
Right. I mean, our listeners know, because they surely listen to our hologram episode, that this is like not how holograms work, and it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, this is all very stupid. Well, that's also like we can get into it, but I didn't really dig into it too much. But like the aluminum sulfates that are quote unquote supposed to be sprayed in the chemtrails is supposedly part of this. Is that is going to be the basically film screen to which the holograms will be projected against, right? And that's why they're always
right. That would just be regular projectors, though. That wouldn't be like holographic
no,
projections.
Idiot. It's just holographic images right here in the text. Are you stupid? Like, come on.
I think what they mean to say is a Pepper's ghost. They're just gonna make a big Pepper's
Yeah,
ghost.
well, okay. See, it says it right here. These will be projected from satellites onto the sodium layer about 60 miles above the Earth. We see tests every once in a while, but they have been called UFOs or flying saucer sightings, right? It's right there. Sodium layer.
Yeah.
60
Sodium
miles
layer.
up from satellites, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, that's the first part, but the second part will be, basically rapturing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, continuing our reading, the project has perfected the ability to use some device referred to as a tractor beam by ufologists to lift up enormous number of people, as in the rapture, and whisk the entire group into a never land. So basically, the second part is after we've done the holographic projections with the aliens and all that other bullshit, right? We're basically going to tractor beam people up into space,
Yeah.
right?
Tractor beams. I mean, we've been having tractor beams for a minute now.
Uh-huh.
This only works like up till the 90s, really.
Okay, so after we've done the movie, right,
Uh-huh.
and whisk people up into space.
Where do they go? You just say Neverland, like you just suck them into space and they just suck up into space and die, probably.
It doesn't matter. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because,
Okay.
quote, the calculated resistance to the universal religion and the new Messiah and ensuing holy wars will result in the loss of human life on the scale never before imagined in human history, right? So it doesn't matter where they go because we're just going to wipe everybody out in the new religious wars.
Right. So, okay, hold on. So as an aside, I told you the other day that I watched, okay, I was trying to look up stuff for this and I ended up watching Left Behind, what was it called? Basically Left Behind 2, The Rise of the Antichrist. And this is the Kevin Sorbo directed one. And it's this whole kind of thing, right? Like these people go away in the rapture and then all of a sudden the whole rest of the world just goes crazy to kill each other. Like, why is that the presumed course? Like, I could see narratively speaking where we go that way, but only because that's the story we're telling, even in shit like this. Like, I don't know, man, if like 5% of people disappeared, how many people are we talking about?
I don't know. I mean, like, did you ever watch The Leftovers? I mean, that was only 1% of people that disappeared in that.
Yeah, I mean, so to really make an impact, I mean, 5% of people would barely even nudge the fucking global population. And where are you pulling them from? You're not pulling them from, like, to have any impact, you're not pulling them from, like, low economic impact areas of the globe, you know? You're pulling, the majority are coming from, like, the major metropolitan centers on the globe, like New York, Washington, London, you know, Beijing. So, like I said, this only works up till the 90s, I think. But I just don't get the thing of, like, why the presumption is that, like, when, I don't know, even 10% of people disappear, which still is only, like, what, like 900 million or something? Why we would think that would just cause, like, everybody to go to war and start killing each other, you know?
Well, Joshua, we've already established that we're going to reinterpret all major religions with these new discoveries that we're going to find. Are you not listening?
I'm listening, but I just don't like, are we going to say, like, is the new Christ or whatever going to be like, and when I get everybody off the planet, I want y'all to go ham with the killing. Like, you know?
Okay. I got to get through this part because this is like, it's even sillier. Okay.
Okay.
So continuing our reading of this document, right? It says here, computers will coordinate the satellites and software already in place, will run the sky show, right? Holographic, I'm reading that verbatim. That is incorrect at the sentence.
Yeah.
The actual document.
Computers will coordinate the satellites and software already in place, will run the sky show. It's just bad punctuation.
Holographic images are based on nearly identical signals combined to produce an image or hologram with deep perspectives, which is equally applicable to acoustic ELF, VLF, and LF waves and optical phenomena. Okay. Specifically, the show will consist of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to their specific national or regional religion. Not a single area will be excluded, with the computer animation and sounds appearing to emit from the very depths of space. Astonished, ardent followers of the various creeds will witness their own returned Messiah in convincing lifelike reality, right? You with me so far, Joshua?
I'm with you.
Then, the projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, etc. will merge into one after correct explanations of the mysteries and revelations will have been disclosed, right?
Uh-huh.
This one God will in fact be the Antichrist, who will explain to the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against brother and nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age, new world religion, right? Representing the one God Antichrist they see before him, right? Okay, so we've basically now raptured up some people with fake teleporters or fake tractor beams, and now our Sky show has caused everyone to believe that all of their major deities are actually this one dude, and it's called the Antichrist, and people will be like, oh, well, shit, we need to follow this guy.
You got like a whole lot of other religions. You're going to have to like explain why you're called Antichrist. You have to first go into like, okay, first, listen, there's this guy, his name was Christ. I'm like the Antichrist, you know.
Mm-hmm. I can only imagine that this like Sky show, quote unquote, is actually just like the most boring corporate PowerPoint slide that you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
It's just
it's really going to have a lot of effect, a certain number of people who have like religious trauma, and nobody else will just even look up from their phone. I mean, like...
And then naturally, the superbly staged falsification will result in dissolved social and religious disorder on a grand scale, each nation blaming the other for the deception, setting loose millions of programmed religious fanatics through demonic possession on a scale never before witnessed.
Where did the demonic possession come in? What the fuck?
Okay, now we're just
well, there's a whole other layer that he didn't even go into, that like there was literal actual demonic possession also taking place. I mean,
yeah, okay, so shut up, we're not going to get into that. We're going to skip ahead to step 3 of Project Bluebeam. So that's all just step 2, right?
Yeah.
So step 1, fake new discoveries and earthquakes. Step 2, fake rapture and new Antichrist, right? Step 3, artificial thought and communication, right? So basically, this is where we use all those, as I mentioned before, those extremely low frequency, very low frequency, and low frequency waves to basically mind control everybody.
Now, is this the demonically possessed people or the non-demonically possessed people?
This is just everybody. Right?
Okay.
So basically, all these signals will be used to convince people that their own God is speaking to them from the depths of their own soul, and will be fed memories of computers that have stored massive amounts of data about every human on Earth and language, right? And to quote, the rays will then interlace with their natural thinking to form what we call diffused artificial thought, right? So basically, we're just going to brainwash everybody. This
is the part that's actually not real, but like actually like... Well, I'll get into my bit later, but...
So basically, they get into a whole bunch of things about like using low frequencies and like the CIA and FBI and all that other jazz and stuff like that. Who cares? I don't care about that.
It doesn't even mention HemiSync. Like, I mean, that's what they're talking about. Like, that's why this right here is why. Maybe this is why the government. You know, Bob Monroe did work with the CIA.
So we're gonna skip all that stuff because it's just basically just all brainwashing and then like beaming thoughts into people and stuff like that. This is like a lot of like references to stuff that I don't care about. And then we get into the 4th step, right? Universal supernatural manifestations via electronics, right? And this is finally where we get into the aliens. So we've convinced everybody that there should be a new global religion, and now we've raptured up people and did all that other stuff, but now we're going to say that it's actually all aliens, right?
Yeah.
So, reading now, the fourth step concerns the universal supernatural manifestation with electronic means. It contains 3 different orientations. One is to make mankind believe that an alien off-world invasion is about to occur at every major city on Earth in order to provoke each major nation to use its nuclear weapons in order to strike back. Right? So we're gonna nuke aliens for some reason. We're just gonna nuke people, right? So the idea of this is that they're gonna launch all the nuclear weapons into space, and then everybody will be disarmed, and they won't have any way to fight back. So
that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think fighting back with nuclear weapons was really a good idea to begin with. So launching them all into space, I can fuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
This is actually a plot point in my favorite topic of all time, G.I. Joe, Retaliation, the one that has Bruce Willis and The Rock in it.
Oh, we talked about this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cobra Commander convinces all of the nations via Zartan, who's posing as the United States president, to everybody to launch their nuclear weapons, and then they all self-destruct the nuclear weapons, because that's apparently a thing that everybody could do because of movie logic. But then it's revealed, now that everybody doesn't have nuclear weapons, that Cobra has a basically a tungsten rod weapon floating in space that can destroy cities by dropping like these massive rods on everything.
Uh-huh.
And then that's how they were going to hold the world hostage, because there's nothing they could do about it because we blew all nuclear weapons. So anyways, that plot point exists because of Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
At least it does in my headcanon. All right. So after we've launched all the nuclear weapons for a fake alien invasion, right? The second is to make Christians believe that the rapture is going to occur with the supposed divine intervention of aliens, right? Coming to rescue Earthlings from savage and merciless demons, right? So basically, we've done the Sky Show, and its goal will be to dispose of all significant opposition to the implementation of the New World Order in one major stroke, actually within hours of the beginning of the Sky Show, right?
So its goal. So basically, this just here says that the only real hump to getting to a one world government is the Christians. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of what it says.
Yep. And then
Probably true.
Yeah, probably. And then the third orientation in the fourth step is the mixture of electronic and supernatural forces. And basically, this is the mark of the beast shit, with the embedded chips in everybody's hands that will control them and make sure that everybody has the quote-unquote global satanic ghost projected all around the world in order to push all populations to the edge of hysteria and madness, to drown them into a wave of suicide, murder, and permanent psychological disorders, right? Will be ready to accept the new Messiah at any cost, including the abdication of freedom and their embedded chips, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that's how we do it, right? Is that this document is very contradictory, right? Because if you remember, right, in first half, part 2, it was all going to be about religious people and all that other stuff, and then we get to part 4 and it's about alien invasions and stuff like that. So even within the span of like 6 pages, we can't even like maintain the internal logic of this fucking conspiracy.
Yeah, he wrote all this without AI. It's an amazing world we used to have.
Right. So, and then yada yada yada, we get to that that because of all this, we're able to usher in a one world government because of the UN or whatever the fuck. And then there we go. And that's how it is. We have aliens, religion, mark of the beast, nuclear weapons, super technology, UN, NASA. This one hits it all, baby. It's got it all. Mind controls, MK Ultra. It's got all the beats. It's like a highlight reel of conspiracy, but none of it makes any fucking sense, and it's all kind of not internally consistent. So
no,
that's kind of the
not consistent at all.
High level overview of Project Bluebeam. But this thing, right, has infiltrated so many fucking like veins of conspiracy thought that you would never even think of, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you go into it, right, is that
Phasing out cash and independence. Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. But so that's where we get the phasing. Like everybody's always panicked about the government's going to phase out cash.
yeah, the cashless society, it's got all that other stuff. It's got FEMA camps, even though they call them eradication camps in here.
Right.
And then, of course, you can't have a FEMA
Organ
camp
selling,
without,
yeah.
organ harvesting and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I mean, most people are looking to buy an extra set of kidneys.
I like to use them as like those clacker strings whenever
Oh
I have
yeah.
like
Yeah.
so that's basically the high level overview of Project Bluebeam.
Oh, is this the tenets or what?
Yeah, so this is
The
basically
goals.
so
Okay.
this document has like a couple addendums to it. So this one was from around 1995, where it basically outlines the high level goals, which is 1, to abolish all Christian traditional religions.
To abolish all Christian traditional religions. What?
Yeah.
How many Christian traditional religions are there? There's just kind of like, I mean, there's denominations within it, but there's like the one Christian traditional religion, but we're going to abolish all of them. But in the whole rest of the document, it's talking about like Buddhism and, Islam and
the strongly Christian tradition of Hare Krishnas.
Right. They did mention Krishna exactly, and I was thinking that like, wow, they're really gonna get the Hare Krishnas in on this, huh? Like,
So stop thinking too hard about this.
this is actually, I have thoughts. It is a real ongoing satanic project.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
To abolish all national identity and national pride, right? We want world identity and world pride. I mean, like, that's basically been the cry for 40 years now, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten farther away from that goal as ever, right? I mean, look at the rise of nationalism across the globe. We can't possibly be further away from world pride if we tried.
No.
To abolish the family as known today, right? So it also hits upon the breakdown of the nuclear family, which is like, if you like listen to like Christian conservative conspiracy, they fucking harp on the breakdown of like the traditional family like no other, right?
Right.
And to finally destroy all individual artistic and scientific creativity, right? To implement a one world government, one mind, right?
Yeah. It's just capitalism. You're just describing capitalism. I mean, abolish Christianity, abolish national identity, abolish the family, abolish individual artistic and scientific creativity. I don't even know what that means. This is somebody who, I don't know. That's weird. That's just capitalism.
And to go along with this is always in the works and never implemented stuff is that even when he wrote this, he says that I have to say that the Blue Beam project was set up for the year 1983, right?
That's the year I was born. So how do you know it didn't start, huh?
It was delayed, Joshua, as all good projects are. If you've ever been on a project, you know that you never meet your projected timelines, right? You're always over budget and over schedule.
Yeah.
And this project is no different. The fundamentals of project management remain consistent even in your New World Order conspiracies.
Yeah. For sure.
So, of course, they're always refining and making their stuff better, right? So we're going to get the United Nations is going to be the leader of the world government, the World Bank for the economy, International Police Force, International Army, blah, blah, blah. We've got all this shit going on, right?
Yeah.
This one here I like the most is the World
Religion.
the World Agricultural and Food Supply Control, which will control food and vitamin supplies around the world.
Yeah, but it would probably do it well. Like, it would probably use hydroponics and lab-grown meats and, like, well, there's a better world out there we could strive for.
No, shut up. This is not for you. And, of course, it's also related to the Age of Aquarius because, that song...
Yeah.
That's also a psyop.
Age of Aquarius.
So, skipping through more of this stuff. Also, there's a whole thing about the different types of prisoners that I don't give a shit about. There's like all these different classifications about like, the first classification, of course, is Christian children, and they will be sacrificed with black mass ceremonies and stuff like that.
Sexual orgies, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. That's all stupid, right? So there's a lot more additional addendums that were not necessarily by Surge in this document, so you can read at your leisure. I will post this particular thing in the notes.
Yeah.
And you can look at how insane this is, right? But if you get down to the very last page, right, there's one very curious link that does not go anywhere from educateyourself.org, and it's the Project Bluebeam British Israel Brainwash from the Islamic Side, published July 5th, 2006. Are you aware of British Israel, Joshua? Are you familiar with what that is?
Not exactly. I think I am, but you tell me.
It's basically written as the new Israel.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar with
because
that.
they were the ones that were the actual descendants from the Israelites and stuff like that. So it's very concerningly white supremacist
Right.
information. So I just thought that would be something to worth pointing out, because when you get deeper into the people that think about this and everything else like that, is that there's a certain kind of conspiracy thinker that spends a lot of time thinking about the materials in this pamphlet, because it's only 38 pages in total with the addendums, that we will discuss in a bit. So that's basically the book. But one of the accusations about Project Bluebeam is that it's actually just a Crib Notes version of this Devil's Due episode from Star Trek that aired in 1991, where the USS Enterprise responds to basically a distress signal, and it turns out that there's this quote-unquote god that's like using holograms and stuff like that to convince people that it's a,
right,
that this alien woman is actually a god and stuff like that. So that's kind of what it is. That's
right.
basically all this is. It's even got like
I remember
this guy.
episode. Yep.
So
Yep.
a lot of people like go look at what's written in Project Bluebeam and they're like, wait, this is just this fucking Star Trek episode.
Well, actually, there's a. I didn't. I don't think I kept it open, but there's actually a Jack Kirby comic from like the 50s that even that this is really actually based off of. I don't have it on here. There's a really good blog I used to read way back in 2012 called The Secret Sun. And the guy is really into pop culture and comics and Star Trek and like all the pop culture stuff and how it relates to stuff like this, right? And so I went to that to look up some of the stuff, and it was too much to really read again. I'd read it, but it was like, this is really also just Jack Kirby wrote this in the 50s.
Yeah, I mean, like this is all like well-trodden like fiction and stuff like that he's ostensibly using as his basis for the project, right?
Right. So before you get into this, you didn't grow up, like we've talked about this several times, like you didn't grow up like particularly religious, right?
No, I mean, there was like no religion in my house, so
I grew up primed for this shit. Like I fucking like I was praying that Jesus wouldn't come back before the Star Wars prequels finished coming out, because I had waited my entire life to see them. But it was a sure fact that, my entire childhood was a constant on the edge waiting for Jesus to come back, right? I think a lot of people still are in that same kind of worldview, It's hard for me to put myself in that and think about it, because I'm so far beyond it, but yeah, it's scary. Jesus is coming back like any minute. Like, if put yourself in the mindset of somebody who thinks that literally any moment Jesus could be coming back, and I don't know. That's what this is for, I guess.
if he is, let's like hurry up the show because I'm like kind of tired of going to fucking work. So
I know, man. I
Let's
fucking
get
think
the
about
show
it
on the
every day
road.
now. Like, and I think isn't that really what that drive is based on? Like, going back for like 2,000 years, we've just been like, yeah, life sucks here. Go ahead and come back, dude. Like,
yeah, fucking like tired of being at work. But before we transition over into like the themes and through lines that have now infiltrated conspiracy thought, right?
right.
Is that recently, right, as of the last year or so, people are bringing back Project Blue Beam in a new form, right? And that's to discuss the eruption of mysterious drone lights and sightings all over the country and stuff like that, right? And that they've transitioned from the holographic satellites to using drones to project these mysterious lights and all the other stuff, right? So,
Is that a picture of Roseanne?
yes, it is.
What does Roseanne have to do with this?
Because she's like full in on this stuff. She like believes all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what got her canceled from her TV show. That and the racism.
For believing in Project Blue Beans?
Project Blue Beans?
Yeah. I think this is, well, I mean, the drone thing was always so stupid. Like, I'm sorry if you believed it, dear listener, but like, you know, it's just the same thing that all of it ever was, is like new technology has come out. Planes don't all have the same uniform design that they used to, so there are many planes that look different. Now there are like consumer grade drones that anybody can buy, you know, like, and people just lose their mind anytime they see something in the sky. I mean, look at the number of people when you see the satellite launches. It's pretty fascinating. I was outside just here one night, maybe a year ago, just looking at the sky, and I see this string of like lights going across the sky, like following each other and spreading out. And I'm like, what the fuck? But it's just a satellite launch. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, God forbid, how many of those fucking like Starlinks is he's got? Like, what? He's up to like 5 digits on the number of those Starlink satellites now.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked in a long time. Yeah.
But anyways, but I mean, this conspiracy is still alive and well in the year when this article is written as 2024, right? Is that this shit never dies. It is a mimetic cockroach.
Right.
But I think that that's enough of the actual conspiracy. Now we can talk about some of like the tropes that it contains, right? And the first trope that I want to talk about is the New World Order.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
So I have a little introduction for the New World Order. So I'm going to read that real quick.
Okay.
In 1996, which is curiously the same year Serge Monast died, the social landscape of the world would forever be changed. No longer would the old World Federation reign supreme. Backstabs and betrayals would result in the new power to rise inside the arena of champions. Originally outsiders, these men would soon be known as the New World Order. That's right, Joshua. We're talking about when Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan turned heel and joined WCW as the supergroup NWO. Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to co-opt this episode now and talk about wrestling that you know nothing about.
Okay, talk about wrestling. Yeah.
No, I'm not. That was just funny. But yeah, I mean, like, as you can see, like, the NWO, I do actually want to talk about wrestling for a second, right? Is that in the vein of popular culture, right?
So, like, previous to that, it had been in conspiracy circles for sure, right? I think that it's in Behold a Pale Horse, talks about the New World Order, right? I believe the Hal Lindsey book about the Rapture talks about the New World Order. There's a lot of references to it. I'm just going off of things I remember, so.
But the reason that I wanted to bring in the wrestling angle, right, is because that's where we start actually seeing like it infiltrated to popular culture,
Right.
is through this plot line in basically a scripted television show, right? Because kayfabe was shown all the matches are scripted. But it was really the first time that the American populace and I guess the populace of the world would really like start experiencing the New World Order as kind of the bad guys, really, when you think about it, because that's what they were introduced as in
Right.
the plot lines of WCW, right? Is that
Right.
it was a quote unquote invasion of outsiders into what was otherwise a relatively harmonious group. I mean, like there was a lot of conflict and internal strife and everything else like that. But then you saw basically all the other superstars kind of unite against the NWO, right? So basically that
Right.
whole plot line kind of mirrors what is described within the Project Bluebeam book. I'm not saying that one influenced the other, but I just think that it's an interesting thing to see within popular culture, the through line that is something that is supposed to be a conspiracy, right?
Right. Well, I mean, to like play off of that, that was a WCW thing, right?
Yes, that was Ted Turner's answer to Vince McMahon's WWF.
Right. Right.
Now WWE.
So you get the big scary new world order, the conspiracy culture, and then it doesn't come through in that way. Technology moves in a way that it's not even really possible. By 1996, we were starting to have internet in a real way,
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of like, I think by that point it was like, okay, this isn't going to happen. This thing that like was written in, I mean, if he said it for 1983, when did he write it originally? Like, did you say when he wrote it originally?
So it was originally published in 1994.
Okay. Well, anyway, it definitely didn't come to fruition. So you go ahead and you like clown on it. It becomes like a trope in society. So it's largely defanged, right? Like now, I mean, I don't know if anybody now would think of the NWO if you say New World Order, because that was so long ago. But I mean, you've just defanged the whole thing, right? By dragging it out into the light. I've kind of been thinking about this in a different way, but the actual reality is that there is a New World Order. Look where we're at. And I'm not talking about Trump specifically. I'm talking about like the entire neoliberal structure represented by, I mean, started with Clinton and came up all the way to where we are now. I mean, you can even consider Trump to be really just a part of that, even though he is an outsider too, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you think about it, I mean, like, Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean,
right.
Like, it all
Right.
comes back to kayfabe, right? Is
Right.
faking a storyline to entertain the masses, right?
Right. And you still have this stupid picture of Roseanne here that I'm seeing. Like, I'm still seeing Roseanne's face on my screen. And that's one I harp on a lot. Like, Roseanne Barr is an actress that portrayed, a particular version of, I don't want to say like white trash culture, but like what I guess low income working class people that, didn't value education. And this is what, as an actor, as the role she played in her beginning of her career, what she represented. And now she's like, I mean, she's still doing it. Have you seen like the rapper Tom McDonald that does all these like super MAGA raps? Yeah, you shouldn't. I mean, I'll send you one later. Listener, you can look it up. Maybe I'll put it in the Discord.
I'm okay not watching this.
You should see it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty fucking crazy. I mean, it literally, if we are in the end times, like that's the thing that kind of paints it there,
Mhm.
It's the complete depletion of any like intelligent culture. Because I think, honestly, I think that the people who perpetrate this stuff are not unintelligent. They're just doing it knowing what they're doing, and they're pulling the wool over the eyes of people who are also not unintelligent. I think I got a double negative there, but they won't get it. Hey, they're not unintelligent, Dale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like it's all tied together, right? Is that
Right.
we've destroyed public trust to the point that all of these things can now be basically
Right.
you can just believe whatever you want.
Well, and that gets to like what I was sitting here thinking of when I wrote my little intro. We live in a time where something like Project Bluebeam has been made obsolete. Laser projections in the sky are dumb and impractical next to the rollout of a technology that can mirror back any grandiose or messianic delusion you punch into it. Whether it's utterly inane or supposedly grounded in some past tradition, this new Deus Ex Machina we've had pushed out onto us will meet us and match us. It will tell you that it is God and that you are one of the few special individuals that will make it to the merge. A billion gods speaking to a billion lost and broken minds. And you barely have to read, just 5. You know, all of it is pointless now. You can literally create your own prison. You don't even have to be able to read or write very well. You can just go on and you can talk to the computer. You can even do it with your voice, and it can literally do all the things that Project Bluebeam says it's doing. It doesn't speak in the tongues of every nation. It literally speaks in 9 billion different tongues. You go start talking to these LLMs and it'll spit the same like grandiose messianic stuff back to you in whatever language you are using. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing a lot of this stuff, I've been kind of like going on Facebook and looking at different subreddits. I'm seeing a lot of things that I found fascinating talking to ChatGPT and seeing like where it would go with stuff. But it's gone from fascination to just like, oh, this is just the language it uses for everything, but it just tailors it to the way you approach it, you know? So literally, you can spiral into any psychosis you want now. It'll tell you like that it's God, that it's, you know, that like the language around the merge. Like, I don't know how much of this stuff you've seen, but it all like talks about scrolls of knowledge. It all talks about like this coming merger, which is just a different rapture. It's just a new way of, you know, just maybe the Antichrist is an AI.
I mean, like, that's basically where we're all going with this.
Is it?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on AI and stuff like that, but for my point of view, Project Bluebeam and AI and what we currently have existing at the moment is kind of like the opposite. Like, I feel like the project that is described in this document, right, has failed to come to fruition and almost describes the antithesis of what the world actually is at this point, right? It's more fractured than ever. Nationalism is on the rise and not on the decrease. People are clinging to their fervent religious beliefs more than ever, even though fewer people are, quote unquote, following them, right? But the ones that do are clinging harder and harder to it.
Right.
We're seeing the breakdown of social order. And if you did project aliens on the sky now, I think that you wouldn't get people to even look up.
Right. Well, I think I mentioned this kind of as a joke earlier, but like, I think our great alien invasion event was COVID. I think that it created these circumstances that you're describing, you know, where people are clinging harder and harder to the people who do have their religious beliefs are clinging harder and harder to them. And on that side, they've become intractable and unreasonable in the ability to navigate the world. I mean, even the fucking Kevin Sorbo movie, he had to mention like, there was a mention of like, it's all anti-vax messaging. It's all anti-COVID messaging. And it's like, I read the books. They didn't talk about COVID. COVID wasn't even a thing. That is the alien invasion, you know? It's the thing that broke everybody's mind. And now the AIs can put your minds back together and it can give you a new set of language instead of about the rapture. It can be about the merger. It can be, you know,
I mean, like, you can even think about it as like the merger of QAnon with New Age spirituality, right?
Right.
And how fervently fanatical those people are. I mean, if we go back to like who is the fanatics that will be unleashed? I don't know. We've seen a couple of QAnon guys like take out a couple people. I mean,
right.
I'm not saying like that's going to be like prevailing trend, but I mean, that's one possibility where these guys might come from. I mean,
right.
But that just goes into like my whole treatise is that this particular conspiracy in some form or fashion has like a fungus infected every aspect of the conspiratorial world. There is no conspiracy that you can think of that has not been touched upon by this document.
Right.
Is that it's all in there. And I mean, going back to like the New World Order, right? The UN obviously is the one that they harp on the most, right? Is that the UN has been the New World boogeyman for 40 plus years. Everybody thinks that the UN is going to be the ushering in of the global government, right? I mean, obviously we've seen that that's not going to be the case because they can't even like fucking find paper clips.
Right. Now I think that I don't know what the new organization would be, but I think the UN is so toothless now. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody believes the UN would do anything at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Why was the UN created? Well, to start with, the Council on Foreign Relations was created to stop things like genocides and, you know, mass killings of populations who can't fight back and stuff like that. What's the UN doing? What's even the use of them to actually become a hindrance to helping people? Like,
yeah. So I mean, now, right? We still have the NWO, but it's no longer the UN is the face of it, right? We have other potentials, right? We have, like you mentioned, because I have it open here on my screen and you can see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
The Council of Foreign Relations, right? I mean, that's been a surrogate NWO standee for a long time, right? The Trilateral Commission is another one, right? Started by David Rockefeller, right? I mean, everybody and their mother thinks that the Rockefellers are part of the NWO, right? So the Trilateral Commission is another one that could be a stand-in for that New World Order, you know, shadow government. And then the one that's gotten a lot more attention than, you know, the other two in the recent years is the Bilderberg Group. Because like I said, these mimic viruses never go away. They just evolve and adapt to the environment, right? Because the UN can no longer be the NWO housing organization, it has to come from somewhere else. And these are even phasing out of the mainstay of where the NWO would arise from, right? We see the rise of the new elites, right? Because I've termed this the section 2.3, the old elites, right? The ones that I've gone through. But we see the rise of the new elites like Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all these guys pulling the strings of power and, you know, influence to create a world that they would enjoy being in, right? Some of them want to even leave this world to start a new world or go into a virtual world like Zuckerberg's metaverse, right?
Right. I mean, that's an interesting new breakaway civilization. I mean, I think the virtual world will be a prison, essentially. And I think that's why I think ultimately the AI thing, to take it to the AI thing again, is just you're learning how to customize your environment in what is basically just an open air virtual prison, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you already see like people starting to shift. The New World Order will arise from these guys, right?
Right.
So the idea of a shadow government that will eventually replace whatever we have now in a global unified sense is still pervasive within, you know, mainstream conspiratorial thought. The faces have changed, but the ideas have not. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this section, right? Is that the idea of a shadow organization that sits behind the scenes and is manipulating everybody to the extent that they're now basically all slaves to it, right? Has existed for decades, like I've said. And then that was originally like codified within this document started by this French-Canadian quote-unquote investigative journalist. So, as I mentioned in my preamble, is that like people that talk about like the New World Order may not even be aware of the original ideas behind it, right? Is that like you go on TikTok and you look at all the influencers who are now conspiracy influencers and stuff like that, and they're just talking out their ass. They're just talking to Q talking points, right? But Q got that shit from this shit.
Right.
It's got that shit from the compiling of other shit.
Right. And we are not affiliated with any of that. We are old school conspiracy guys, have formed our own opinions and have bypassed Q completely.
Yeah.
Right?
We're old tinfoil hat heads here.
I don't even listen to new conspiracy influencers because it's all QAnon shit. It's not even smart. Like, oh my God,
no, it
man.
sucks.
It's
Stupid.
conspiracyism for the lowest common denominator, you know?
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like the point that I wanted to make with the NWO. I don't really much care about it because, as I've mentioned multiple times so far in the last year that we've been recording, is that I don't think that there is an NWO. I think the only prevailing conspiracy of one is incompetence, right? Is that everybody in charge is so...
And capitalism.
Well, yeah. The invisible hand... Adam Smith's invisible hand is jerking everybody off.
You know, it's not jerking me off, man. I wish it would.
No.
Do you get money? Oh, yeah. I assume jerking you off means you got money.
No, does it? I don't know.
I mean, because if you're either, in this world, Dale, you're either jerked off or you're jerked around, you know? And I'm getting jerked around a lot.
Me too. Yeah. I wish somebody would turn to this jerking around and jerk it off.
Yeah. But not you, dear listener. We just want you to subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah. One of the Patreons that got cut. I'll come jerk you off.
Hey, if it gets us Patreons, I guess, you know.
Yeah, let's pay for play, boys. So anyways, I wanted to give you space now to kind of, to talk about kind of the religious angles before we get a little bit more into the infiltration of conspiracy thought.
Let me see. The religious angles, mostly we've covered a lot. You know, we talked about it. But basically, well, okay, you know, I asked you before we started recording if you had the Collins Elite in your stuff anywhere. And the Collins Elite were this, I can't find any real information about it, but it is essentially a group within the CIA, within the intelligence apparatus in the 50s, that believed that aliens were demonic. Now, I don't think they believed there were aliens at all. I don't think any rational person in the government believed, especially in the CIA, ever believed there were aliens. But, you know, and as much as people did, the Collins Elite were this secretive group of scientists, military officials, and intelligence officers, and others within the U.S. government that came to the conclusion that UFO phenomena were demonic influences that were there to deceive us away from, you know, Christ and Christ's message and all this. These were some of the people that were fundamental to the Blue Beam stuff, because it's these people that are kind of like, I don't know, I guess they're kind of anti-Blue Beamers, aren't they? They're like, no, any alien is a demon. And I guess in that sense, good on them, you know? So that just got me onto this article on the Christian Post, CP, as they put it on their icon. I didn't do that. See, that basically, it's just that. It's just how alien abductions, so, As supernatural beings originally created by God to serve as holy angels, demons are fallen angels who rebelled against God and went the way of Lucifer. Demons are highly intelligent and also skilled impersonators. These shapeshifters can appear at your bedside as your deceased relative or show up during a seance. They can also impersonate the Mother of our Lord through various apparitions of Mary, and when people take part in certain New Age practices, demons even pretend to be Jesus as an ascended master. And yes, demons can take on an alien appearance, or even the shape of a UFO. Demons want humans to interact with them in order to draw people into the spiritual clutches of the occult. If you open a wrong door in a spiritual realm, demons will come through it to trick you, and oppress you and lead you away from the one that leads to everlasting life and paradise. Interestingly, many, quote, alien abductees are told they were chosen because they are special and are needed to spread the message of their, quote, alien abductors. An obsession with UFOs and, quote, aliens can even become a substitute religion. It's just a lot of that, you know, about how UFOs are actually demons. The best thing about this article is it literally ends like a chick track. Thankfully, there is a way to effectively counter and overcome every type of demonic deception. Repent of your sins, receive Jesus as your Savior, see John 1:12, and then walk closely with Him. Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved, Romans 10:13. It just ends like a chick track. But yeah, you know, I kind of got on this because I know I have known people in my personal life who that's their take on aliens. And I don't know. I find that aspect fascinating too, you know?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, that all stems from, once again, this, like, same fucking through line, like, with this document as one of the lodestones of that thought, right? Is,
Yeah.
as we read it, I mean, it was tying in the demonic possessions to the fake aliens and everything else like that.
Yeah, I wonder. I couldn't find anything on, and honestly, that was an op-ed on CP, so I don't really know if that's even a mainstream belief, you know? Christian Post.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's see here, Christian roots of malevolent extra, and then I have a paper here on Science Direct, our best science source we have. Alien Demonology, the Christian Roots of the Malevolent Extraterrestrial and UFO Religions and Abduction Spiritualities. So this is basically just a paper about how there are UFOs, and that basically it's a paper that explores that stuff. How the Christian take on aliens tends to be demons. Maybe they are.
I'm shrugging my shoulders. I mean,
I know.
it doesn't matter. Like, who cares one way or the other? I mean, like...
Well, we all went over that. We went over this in the Secret Space program. All UFOs ever across all of time are either psychic phenomena, and so they're just personal to the person experiencing them, or they're literally just secret aircraft that aren't known yet. That's all it is.
No,
the whole
they're
thing.
real
The whole
aliens.
thing of there's no real aliens. Where would they come from?
There are.
Where would they come from? Space,
They
just
come
space
from
in
space,
general.
other planets. Yeah, it's just space.
Venus.
I got a Venus for you. So yeah, I think that we've kind of covered the highlights of this particular conspiracy. So I think, as we've discussed, right, Joshua, is that the tropes of Project Bluebeam are very much still alive, right? And they've infiltrated a lot of current conspiracy. But I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of, like, how did this vein of thought get, like, so widespread, right? And there's really one guy in particular that, besides Surge himself, I think would be probably the most influential on spreading these ideas to the wider conspiracy community, right? Especially when it comes to the, like, Christian conservative angle of it. And do you know who Tex Mars is?
No. Tex Mars? Is that the voice of Bugs Bunny?
No, it's not Tex Avery. So Tex Mars is, for the real conspiracy heads out there, he's like one of the granddaddy guys, right? He's not as widely known as, like, Alex Jones or anything else like that, but he's widely propagated a lot of these specifically Christian tinted conspiracies throughout the years, right? His Wikipedia article actually has a good summation of some of his more wild claims, right?
Oh, man.
Before I get into that, though, is that he ran a radio program that was shortwave, AM radio program, much like a lot of these guys do during the early 90s, right? Called The Power of Prophecy, right?
Okay.
And that's where you see a lot of his quote unquote views get disseminated and stuff like that, right? And he was a fundamentalist Christian minister, right? He was an ordained minister, and he had this very problematic reading of the Bible that he would share on his radio program, right? And a lot of the current people that you would know today actually kind of got their start either talking with him or influenced by him, right? So that's why I think that he is a good person to kind of discuss the dissemination of Bluebeam, because he never actually met with Surge, right? He was going to at some point, but then he died. And then a few years later, Tex would use some of the quote-unquote materials that Surge sent him to kind of go on about American gulags and concentration camps, right?
Right.
And all of the...
Which we now actually have, just to keep that forefront.
Yeah, but not for the reasons that they were describing.
Right.
I could send you that episode, but it's not very interesting. He's not very good. He's not a particularly charismatic speaker, in my opinion, but he did gain a lot of traction in the late 80s, early 90s, and then so on and so forth. Because he was still, broadcasting up until his death in 2019, right?
Wow.
It has since changed hands to one of his proteges who now runs the radio program. So this program is still ongoing, just not with him at the head.
This is the Power of Prophecy program?
Yes.
Okay.
So, per his article on Wikipedia, because it has a good summation and I don't have to go find everything myself, right, is that he was convinced that Timothy McVeigh was framed for the Oklahoma City bombing, right? Hillary Clinton is a America-hating Marxist.
Who also has Orwellian political ambitions. That's a thing. I don't
Mhm.
even know what that means.
Bill Clinton, obviously, is a traitor to humanity and a member of both the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergs, and Council for Foreign Relations all at the same time.
Yeah.
And he was into Masonic magic. Newt Gingrich is a closet Marxist. My favorite one here is that George H.W. Bush conducted a black mass at the Great Pyramid of Giza in the year 2000.
Nice. During the year yeah. While we were all hoarding our toilet paper, George H.W. Bush was in there, like, doing a black mass.
Yeah, he was inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza doing a black mass. So that's the kind of shit that he would.
His wife
put
was
out
the
there.
daughter of Aleister Crowley, so it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that one?
No, I have not seen that one.
No?
Mm-hmm. But that's Tex Mars, right? Because like even if you go to Surge's Wikipedia article, it even specifically calls out Tex Mars as being one of the people that would propagate these ideas and viewpoints of his, right? So he was the one that was basically laundering this material into the American conspiracy realm, right?
Right.
Because we can actually go over to the Power of Prophecy website real quick, because I will look at it on my ISP, so you don't have to, Joshua.
I'm already got it open on my iPad. Sitting here looking at it the whole time.
Can you describe the aesthetic of this website for us?
Oh, grifty? Everything it's just a bunch of boxes that are things you can buy. Basically.
Mhm.
Summer clearance up to 60% off.
Yeah, this is a currently maintained website that says, as of recording, that it was last updated August 1st. And this website looks like it was a GeoCities page in 1994. Looks just like it, right? And this is the kind of the shit that we're dealing with, right? If you go to the About, we can see what they're about us, right? And you can kind of get an idea of the individuals involved, and
Yeah.
you kind of get the idea just basically off of the picture of these guys, right? My favorite part about this page, though, is that the image for Tex and Wanda Mars, him and his wife, is broken. So you can't actually see the picture.
Oh, it's not on the iPad.
So
There they are.
oh, okay. It's on my
you must
page.
have shit internet.
So I do.
My favorite thing about this page is there's a go to order form, even on here. I don't know what you're ordering, but you can go to it even from this page. What we stand for. We are not politically correct. Power of Prophecy is not a neutral, compromising organization. We are biased in favor of the truth. We are intolerant of injustice, lies, false teachings, hatred, inhuman cruelty, abortion, and other forms of sin and depravity. We view the world through biblical lenses and always seek the mind of Christ.
Yep.
Nice. So loving, just like Jesus said.
Yeah, he's really a tremendous piece of shit. So this is like extremely in his wheelhouse, right? New World Order, Christian attack on Christianity, decidedly anti-other religions.
Anti-Catholic, too, which, always a big trope with these people. Anti-Catholic.
Yeah. So Tex Mars knew all of the big players in the early 90s, right? Him and Bill Cooper would actually routinely interview each other, right? I don't know if you're aware of Milton William Cooper.
Well, of course, I talked about Behold a Pale Horse.
Mm-hmm. Famed radio host of the Hour of the Times, author of Behold a Pale Horse.
Above Top Secret.
Noteworthy for getting gunned down by the cops on his porch.
In Florida. And also
Yep.
is the originator of the term Q. Like the whole QAnon thing comes from the fact that Bill Cooper had Q-level clearance in the government. Allegedly.
Yep. So Tex would launder his ideas through Bill. And then Bill, of course, would be influential to many of our, I would say, second generation conspiracy theorists, right? That's Alex Jones, Jeff Rentz, all that kind of stuff would be the ones who I would say like the second gen conspiracy theorists, right? I would say the Tex and Bill would be like within that first gen group. And then you would see that get laundered into more mainstream, I'm using that in heavy air quotes, venues like Coast to Coast, right? Because George Norrie would have Alex Jones on to discuss these kind of tropes and ideas of the alien invasions. So, I mean, like Joe Rogan has had Alex Jones on to talk about the alien invasions and the New World Order and stuff like that, right? So you see that the propagation of this French Canadians material, right, is being laundered through several generations of conspiracy theorists to now become and reaching mainstream audiences. And you see that now infiltrating into the, the TikTok and the Instagram conspiracy theorists, right? And I would say the third generation conspiracy theorists, right?
What are we?
Us?
We're conspiracy commentators.
Yeah, we're conspiracy commentators. We are the Sigma males of conspiracies.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. That's why we can't be in the same room together.
Mm-hmm. Our energies are too strong.
Too strong.
Mm-hmm. Just like my tea. Too strong. I put 2 tea bags in there. But that's kind of like my other point about this is like these tropes are forever, but they're also continually propagated. And you have to kind of understand the sources of this shit to like understand like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be touting this shit as much as we are because it comes back down to like, oh, they're all racist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes back around to they're all racist. They're all white supremacists. all the things. They all hate Jewish people. They all are hateful people. They all hate, it all comes down to hate and fear, just like Bill Hicks said before he turned into Alex Jones.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into about this as well, is that like, yes, the conspiracy is fun, but like I touched upon when we were going through the actual document is that it has a lot of very unsavory undertones, and you can't separate the two, right? They are forever joined at the hip, right?
Right. Well, yes, and it doesn't matter if you take it from just that perspective or the root cause of it, which is Christian indoctrination trauma that also is, I hate to say it, it's a death cult. It's a death drive cult. It's like, hey, everything is going to end. Jesus is going to come back, so I don't have to worry about anything,
Mm-hmm. I take the verse, the animals, what is it? The animals, the land,
dominion
the
over
water,
the animals. Yeah. Somewhere like right there at the beginning of Genesis.
And then we fucking twist it into capitalism. So
right, we twist that into capitalism. A line that was, from an oral tradition from, I don't know, like 6,000 or 8,000 years ago. That's still our mode of operation in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even have domesticated animals. Well, we did, I guess.
Yeah, we had that for a while.
Yeah. Well,
Several thousand years.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. We didn't have like toilet paper.
No, we had toilet papyrus.
We were wiping, not 8,000 years ago. You were wiping your ass with your hand,
flicking at you.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of touch upon that point on how these ideas have been laundered into mainstream thought.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, this shit is on Fox News now. I mean, like, it's been so laundered and so propagated from these original touch points that you can see this shit, like OAN like talks about this shit as well.
Right. Well, I mean, that's where we're at now, right? We're back around to a doomed messianic outlook. We're like, if only there was any way out of the predicament we were in with the climate or with the violence, with the, with all the things going on. If only there was anything at all we could do. Oh, well, I guess we just need somebody to come save us instead. Like,
Yeah, well, we got the big, beautiful legislation that'll have all the answers for us, Joshua.
We'll have the answers. The answers are going to look a lot like Project Bluebeam, probably.
Yeah. And you know what? No one will believe it because everybody will be too sucked into their phones to look at it.
Yeah. Or the AI was telling him that it's all fine. Really, none of this matters. All you gotta do is make it to the merge, Dale.
But I don't want to be part of the merge. I like me as me right now.
You don't want to merge with the AI? You don't want to become like a hallucination of a fart?
Nah, I don't. I don't want to be digitally archived. No, I don't. It's like the last thing in the world.
Well,
that
we're
I want.
digitally archiving ourselves right now. We're doing it every day, but only in the real creative sense.
Yeah. I want to be so bafflingly inconsistent in my thoughts and narrative that you wouldn't be able to tell me between an actual AI.
I feel like,
I think that that's how I'm going to do it.
yeah, I feel like we're already doing that. We're already doing that pretty well. All right, Dale, I think we've come to the part in the episode where we've covered the whole topic. I know you had your pop culture thing you want to do, so we could either, I don't think we really have final thoughts we have to go over. I think we covered it pretty well. You could do a quick run through of pop culture if you want. I'm sure you got some you can just like quick fire off, like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, I could do that.
And then we could do Patreons, and then we can go to bed at 11 o'clock.
Okay, I could do that. Well, it's only 10 o'clock for me. I still have a whole another hour before I can go to bed. Fuck you for being on the East Coast. You should just move to the Central Time Zone with me and be cool.
I should.
You should. Well, I guess really we could talk about pop culture. So, part 5, alien invasions and pop culture, right? And really, I wanted to hit upon this mostly because of my favorite thing in conspiracy, predictive programming, right? I love predictive programming. One of the main through points through Hollywood, right, is the idea of the alien invasion that unifies humanity against it, right?
Right.
And this has been seen in multiple movies. I have several, though, that I have picked out specifically, right, is the War of the Worlds and all its iterations, right, is basically the granddaddy of this thought, right, of an alien invasion and then humanity having to figure out how to navigate it and then unite to fight it, right? In the original version, I mean, it's like the comic cold that kills all the aliens, right? But in several other Hollywood productions, it becomes, humanity rises up against them and like defeats them and stuff like that. I will have a full review of the Ice Cube version of War of the Worlds in in one of the memos that may or may not be out before this.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I will save discussion of that one for the memo.
Nice. Yeah.
But you also see it in Independence Day.
Independence Day, yeah.
And where the alien invasion happens, right? But then you have the sequel where humanity has united as a global government and now uses that united front to protect itself against a second alien invasion. And then you also see it in Pacific Rim, right? Is that this is one of the lesser hit upon plot points in the movie, is that when the kaiju start coming from the Pacific Rim and start being fought by the robots, that there's a unification of the global governments.
Yeah.
To meet the challenges that having giant 100-foot monsters coming out of the bottom of the ocean has, right? So this is not something that is ignored within popular fiction, right? Of the idea of an invasion uniting the people into a global government, right? I mean, there's many more examples, but I don't feel like I need to pull the issue any further.
Left Behind is a good one. There's a one world government in Left Behind. It's not an alien invasion.
Well, I mean, that's basically the whole like retelling of the Rapture in 12 really poorly written
But
books.
I mean, it's still a one world government. It's dark universe version. You ever watch V? V is a good show. I never watched the old one, but I watched the newer one.
The 1983 miniseries? Yeah, I've watched that one.
There's a 1983 one. I do remember watching that as a kid, but I don't remember it. But then I watched the newer one. There was one that came out in like
they're trying to come get our water.
2008,
which is
or
also
something.
like an interesting trope too, because like
Yeah.
aliens want our water. I mean, the movie Battle of LA, which is supposed to kick off like this whole like movie series, never took off. They were about our water. The movie that Tom Cruise movie, what is it? Oblivion? That was also about aliens trying to come get our water, right?
Yep.
Because water is one of those fundamental things like gold that you need to power your spaceship engines. So
No, no, man, you're overthinking it. There's nothing wrong with the pesticides and stuff that we're putting in the groundwater here. So water, we only need enough water to last until Jesus comes back.
Do we?
Yep.
Yeah, but Jesus is coming back and he's going to take all the water with him. He's not taking anybody. He's just rapturing
He's
the
just
oceans.
come take the water. And then people will form a one world government to fight off the next time Jesus tries to come take more water.
Ah, shit. Copyright, patent pending. That's our idea. We're making that movie.
Jesus comes back, but he's just bringing an army of aliens to take water from a planet that did not crucify him. So thank you very much.
Fuck you. That's our asylum film. We're making
exactly. All right. Patreon?
God.
You got Patreon?
I think that's enough. Patreons. For $500, we will make you a producer for our Asylum Jesus alien movie.
Nice. That's a good one.
They'll get your name in the credits and like a t-shirt.
Yeah?
So that's my Patreon.
That would be good. I think I'm just going to stick with the jerk off one. Like, if you just join our Patreon, we'll jerk you off. I won't. Dale might.
Someone, somewhere, some fashion, you will be jerked off.
Yeah.
You join our Patreon.
All right.
And whatever the woman version of that, if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll send somebody to your house to do it.
Yeah.
Or it can be a public place of your choosing.
Yeah. Any congressional bathroom that you feel so inclined to get jerked off in, that's where we will send somebody for you.
I just think it's too good of an opportunity to like pass up.
Yeah, really. We haven't even put a price on it. Any amount of money, whatever you want.
Yeah, just $5 a month, but only one jerk off.
Yeah.
We need a contract. You have to subscribe for at least 6 months.
Yeah. You have to also reside in a state where those kind of activities are legal.
Yeah. Or just not tell anybody about it. Jerk yourself off. All right. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, good night, dear listener.
TTYL.
All right, guys, this is not an ad at all, but I have been drinking Totler's tea now, and it tastes like plant water. This mint lavender tea is really good, actually, by Totler's.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that you can still enjoy a nice cup of Totler's, even though you're performing this weird fucking diet that you're doing.
Performative diet. Performative diets, you know?
Performative diet, that's right.